what's up? Today we're going to talk about how to build a blaze spawner with just about 3 blocks. So the first thing you're going to want to do is actually find the blaze spawner. It doesn't matter where the blaze spawner is, as long as there's 14 mineable blocks under it. And we'll talk about why that's important in a little bit, but basically there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 blocks. This is going to be important for our spawner because it's going to allow blazes to spawn and drop down and continue to spawn. If you don't know this about Minecraft, spawners actually aren't going to spawn more mobs if the mobs that it's already spawned are around it. It's part of the logic on how the spawners actually spawn. And so if the mobs stay where they were spawned, we won't get any more mobs to grind. So if you AFK for 3 hours, you're going to come back and still only have 4 blazes instead of maybe 400 or 4,000. So the first thing that we're going to want to do here is actually have this block right here, 14 blocks beneath the spawner. We're going to build 1 block out this way. We're going to build 1 block out this way. We're going to actually build a wall in the back like this. And pardon the blazes, it just got dark. Just like this. We're going to build a wall up on the edge like this. We're going to build a wall in the front like this. And we're going to fill this in back here, just like this. We want 1 hole in the top. You're going to see why in a little bit, but basically we're building a chimney for the blazes to spawn inside of and drop down through. So now we have kind of a chamber for you to actually kill the blazes in. This is the most crucial part of this build because this is where you're going to kill the blazes. So let's talk a little bit about what we're seeing here. Obviously it's a container to hold the blazes, but why the ladders? Ladders are actually a way to get around the entity limit in Minecraft. If you're not familiar with that, there can only be a certain number of entities in 1 block. And what that means is you can only have a certain number of blazes in 1 block before Minecraft starts killing the blazes because it doesn't want too many blazes to be in 1 block. Well, ladders actually get around that limit. You can have as many mobs inside of a block with a ladder as you want. So we place these ladders here basically to get around that limit. It's a really convenient way to actually do this. So once we have this built, we're going to actually want to start building the chimney up on top of this cauldron, basically. So we're going to build a small platform just like this. And we're going to put glass on the edge just like this. So we see it's a 1 block chimney, and then the platform goes directly on top of it. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to keep expanding out by 1. So we do 1 out like this. And then we do this. And then we're going to do the same kind of thing, just like this. And now we have basically the core structure for this spawner. And if you look down at it, it's actually kind of like a funnel. We're going to talk a little bit about why in a minute, but basically this is going to funnel the blazes down into this spot. Blazes are really hard to focus down into 1 spot. In a normal mob grinder, you might use water to push the skeletons or the zombies or the creepers, but you can't do that with blazes because they fly. So if you make a cauldron shape like this, they're basically forced down here as quick as possible instead of just floating in the air. So the next part is going to be to actually build the final wall on top of this platform. We're going to build up 3 blocks above the spawner. I believe we are 3 blocks. Let's just make sure. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna fill this in around like this, and you can use whatever blocks you want. The glass isn't even crucial for this build. It just makes it look cooler, but you can definitely get away with just even building with netherrack if you want. So basically, what we've done here is built this kind of skeleton on top of it. We're gonna go ahead and fill this in with glass just to make it look cool, and it makes things easier too when you can kind of monitor how many blazes you have spawning and stuff to make sure the spawner is actually working like you want it to. Like I said, totally don't have to use glass. You can use cobblestone, netherrack, whatever you want, as long as it's not a block that's naturally lit. So no glowstone or anything like that, because it'll basically either decrease the spawn rate of the blazes or make them not spawn at all. So we're gonna fill in the edges like this too. Keep filling these edges in. Oops. And then we're gonna fill in this edges one more time with glass. And right here, we've basically finished the spawner. The only thing you have to do now is you have to actually place 2 blocks on top of the spawner like this, because we don't want the blazes to spawn and sit on top of here. And what we have here is basically a blaze funnel. The blazes are gonna spawn, they're going to float down naturally because you're gonna be sitting down there, and they're going to get trapped basically down there so you can kill them. So a little bit here, you can see there's a massive amount of blazes slowly funneling down their way into the actual grinder itself. A few more minutes and we should start to see quite a few blazes, I think. So I've been gone for probably about 2 or 3 minutes, and as you can see, we have probably, I'd say, 10 blazes here. So I would call this a success. This is the blaze farm, and you can see we have a whole bunch more blazes actually coming down, and almost like a blaze tornado. Yeah, so if you have any questions, shoot them in the comments. Like, subscribe, check out my TikTok. I do stream on Twitch, and I'd be glad to answer any questions you guys have. The only other thing I have to say is if you plan on AFKing with this farm, make sure you AFK inside of this chunk. You need to be close to the spawner for it to actually spawn things, and that's really important. So if you plan on AFKing, definitely make sure you build you can build like a little box like right here, basically, and AFK. Just remember that the blazes actually will float and look at you, and sometimes they get stuck, and like I said, if that happens, save, quit, come back, and the blazes will have fixed themselves. But yeah, I might post a little more footage after the end of this to show kind of over time the blaze spawn rate. But yeah, thanks for watching. So I came back after about 30 minutes of sitting at this farm, and there were probably over 500 blazes. So if you plan on AFKing, I would come back every 15 minutes or so. It made my PC lag really bad, so you probably want to make sure you clear the blazes and don't let them sit for too long, or your game will crash and then the blazes will despawn. But yeah, happy blaze farming.